G'day and welcome to A Down Under Yarn. You move that. I'm your host Fiona, also known as Fifykins. If you find someone on the internet called Fifykins, it is probably me. Today is Monday the 3rd of March and it's just after 3 p.m. Let's just say this week's been a lot better than the week before. Thank you to everyone for their lovely comments last week. Really meant a lot, the private messages I got and things like that. Thank you. It's nice to know that people are thinking of you. Ninja wants to say hello too, but she doesn't really know how to, apart from just groaning. Welcome to new viewers especially. Welcome to those people who are coming back as well. It's great that you can join me again. I think I've mentioned it before, but I have had no issues with iTunes distribution because I've done it all myself from the get-go. So I know that a lot of podcasts, though, and regular podcasts, have had a lot of iTunes issues, and therefore, if they don't pop up in the way you usually look at your podcasts, it could easily be that they are no longer being distributed to iTunes because of Blip. I know a couple of the ones that I regularly watch. I'm behind on podcasts. I'm about 2 weeks behind on most podcasts. So I know the Netspin Farm, for instance, hadn't been popping up, and I kept thinking, that's just really weird. I must go and check the group on Ravelry because Joanna's pretty good at podcasting. And yes, there were 3 episodes waiting for me because she changed her feed. Because I watch in podcasts. What do I watch it in? Podburner? No, whatever it's called. Downcast. That's it. Downcast. There was a new feed, and I had to resubscribe to that feed. So especially if you use Downcast, keep an eye out for it. I've got a bowl over my shoulder which I was blocking something in a couple of weeks ago. It's still sitting there. That's the way it is. Administrati. I'm going to move into that, which is the knit-along for March and April has started, the Knit a Hug knit-along. The idea behind this knit-along is to knit something for someone for whom Mother's Day can be a challenge. And that could be any reason at all, and it's something that will give them a hug. So if you think knitting them a pair of mitts will give them a hug, or a hat is fine. My initial thing was to knit a shawl or something to go around their neck as a hug. But if you want to knit something else as a hug, that's fine. I will be casting on Kimberly Gintar, who is Kimberlolly, her Thistles shawl for my friend whose son died recently, because I know that this Mother's Day is going to be particularly challenging for her. I hope to get that done by British Mother's Day, which is usually earlier than Australian Mother's Day because they are English. And I know that's the 4th Sunday in Lent, and this Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, but tomorrow's Pancake Tuesday, Shrove Tuesday. So I think I've got 4 weeks to do it, which should be doable, even though I've got quite a bit of other stuff on the go as well. I'm not going to update you on the week that was. Needless to say, I had an information night at school for Jasper, who's gone into Year 8, which is high school. And they had the information night, which was lots of fun, and I was knitting away, and all the other parents kept commenting and saying, "Oh, last time we saw you at a function, you were knitting." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was probably." So I think you were doing socks. I said, "Yeah, that sounds about right." And they're like, oh, wow, what's this? I said, "It's a shawl." "Oh, it is too." Anyway, it was Jasper's birthday on Friday. He turned 13, so I've got 2 teenagers in the house now. I've been asking him all along, "What do you want for your birthday?" And all he kept saying was, "I need a new mouse for my laptop and I need some headphones." And I said, "Okay, anything else?" "No, all I need is the mouse and headphones." Needless to say, he told his father the same thing. So he's got 2 mice now and 2 sets of headphones. Hey, it is what it is. And he thinks it's really quite funny. Imogen's birthday tomorrow, and she wants a GoPro camera, but that's possibly not going to happen, although I have seen one on sale. She wants to buy a grey import, which is from Asia, and I'm not keen on that, even though the company she wants to go through say they give a 12-month warranty. I've read some of the forums that say the warranty can be a little dodgy, and it's not covered under Australian consumer law either. It's really hard explaining that to a 16-year-old, though. So we will wait and see. I think that's about all there is in week that was, and I want to move on to knitting. I have a finished object. I finished my Aranami shawl, and I have all the ends woven in on the back. So that is the back. This is out of Biggin Designs 8-ply, and I meant to put something up in her forum and I forgot. I've just realised that now. It is by Olga B. I'm calling her Olga B. I'm sorry, Olga. Not that Olga will be watching. But your surname is one that I can't pronounce, and I'm not even going to attempt it. I thought this would be longer, and it's not. Admittedly, I haven't blocked it yet, but that is it. Just crossed over, stretched over my shoulders. What is that bit there? It's just a knobbly bit from when I picked up stitches. Anyway, sorry. I was worried I was going to run out of yarn along the top. I think I ended up with 3 yards before the bind off. So the bind off, I actually bound off, if you look closely, I don't think it's going to show very well. I bound off in that colour there, which was colour 4. There are 5 colours you use in this. The original is done in beautiful greys and it looks like the ocean, waves of the ocean. I wanted to do looking like a sunrise, which is why I chose yellows, oranges and reds. Towards the end I was getting a bit, over it. This was my longest whip to date. It's been on the needles for almost 2 years, I think. And I'd go in fits and starts. And once I got into it again, I'd go, this is actually quite nice, it's quite relaxing, it's quite meditative. The people I looked at a lot of finished objects and they talked about the top row, which is actually, it's a paid for pattern, but the top row is different to the other motifs because of course it doesn't have the point on it, it's got a straight edge. And a lot of people said, because they're much shallower and much shorter than the other ones, I've done extra rows on the top and knit more so that it's a wee bit longer. And when I look at it, it's got exactly the same amount of yarn, or basically the same number of rows. It's just done a bit differently. So yes, it's probably a little bit shallower, but it still uses up a fair bit of yarn. So that kind of threw me. But still, this is finished. I will block it at some stage, and I'm going to put this in the Cairns show just because it's different, and I like showing different things. I don't enter the Cairns show, which is in July, for prizes. I enter to show off different things and different colours and different techniques, and this is a different technique because it is modular. So there we go. It's got a fairly decent wingspan. If I go from here to here, I can't, I can sort of try to get it all in the one. That needs to go down over there. There we go. There you go. That's sort of, so yeah. More of a process knit than a product knit. Again, I haven't blocked this, so I'm not quite sure how one would wear it. I suppose I could, tie it around me. Anyway, it's done, and I am quite pleased with it. Works in progress. Now, I think last week when I recorded, I talked about the Ravelanic Games. Pardon me. I talked about the Ravelanic Games and how I'd hoped to get all these whips finished. This was the other one that I had finished. This was number 4 out of 5. Still haven't finished the 5th whip, which was Mimble Socks. I haven't finished the mystery Follow Your Arrow mystery knit along. I've still got 2 clues to knit on that. I've still got a few other whips that I'd like to get done. And I'm planning on getting them out and working on them one at a time over the next few weeks. I have now finished, I think I worked it out, I'm 1 for 1. I wanted to be 2 for 1, 2 off the needles before 1 went on, but I'm basically more than that now because I did frog a couple of things. I didn't actually show them last week. I frogged a pair of socks that they were the Curse cable socks and I really love them, except I'm not really a cabler. I've never really got into cables yet, and I went to pick them up again and the needles had fallen off and it had unravelled a few stitches in the middle of the cable, and I tried to rip it back and I just thought, life's too short to knit frustrating things for me at the moment. So I've ripped them out and I'll wait and see what I'm going to do with the yarn. The other one was the gorgeous shawl I started as part of a mystery last year, the transitioning to winter shawl. And I again, I finished the first clue and I thought, I'm just going to rip this out at the moment. I might come back to using this yarn on this project. I'm not quite sure. Sorry about that. I actually paused that and took Ninja inside. She was just getting a bit pesky down here. So moving on to works in progress. As I was saying, I do have a few still on the needles. Not as many as I did at the start of the year. I think I had 10 or 11 then. I'm down to about 6. So look, I am doing pretty well for what I want. I'm about to cast something else on as well. Just going to move the camera. I've got a greeny tinge. Come on, water bottle. There we go. That's better. It's just I think it's the way the light from the camera reflects or something, I don't know, whatever it is. Anyway, works in progress. One of the things I have pulled out and started working on again, albeit briefly, is my low tide cardigan. This is a tin can knits pattern. I am using Woolmizer Pure in the Aquarius colourway. I cast this on at the start of the year, so I would like to get it finished fairly soon. I am using the Pure Woolmizer and wanting to alternate skeins further down. I started off, you knit the lace first. It's a paid for pattern, but you knit the lace first and then pick up to go down the body, basically, and then add the sleeves at the very end. But I wanted to do the sleeves out of the first skein of yarn. So once I'd got a wee bit down the body, I knit the sleeves. So the sleeves are actually done. I had help with the button band, some fluff from some spinning fibre there, which is on here. So the button band is on, so I wanted to use that again out of the same skein of yarn. I'm now alternating skeins going down the body. I have this one here, which is, there's probably about 20 grams, 30 grams still on that. And this one, which is fairly full, really, when it comes to it. These were big skeins. Woolmizer is known for its big skeins, which I really like. I really appreciate that. Last time I showed it to you, I was there. So that's how much I've done on it since I showed it to you last, I think. I will move the dicky-doo today, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to get down. Once I finish alternating, once I finish this skein, I'm just going to keep going with it. I'm not going to bother alternating other skein in. I am hoping that it will then be a bit more portable, because all I am basically doing is stockinette stitch at the moment. Haven't measured it recently, and I can't remember how long it does have to be, but it's down below the bust. There's no waist shaping in there or anything. I've got quite a few inches still to go. I'm probably going to go until I run out of yarn. So that is that one. I said all along that once I finished my Aranami shawl, I was going to cast on a sock yarn blanket, and I have. So this is my work for the week. I'm trying to work out when I cast this on. I think it was Wednesday. My aim is to do 1 square a day, and for it to take me a couple of years. I'm fine with that, but I do want it to be something that I work on fairly regularly, and I want to get, a decent amount done. So these are the squares I've done already. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of them. So I am ahead at the moment, but it's very tempting at the moment to get going on it. The squares are taking me out longer than I thought they would, but that's because I get easily distracted, I think. Anyway, various yarns I've used in here. Some of them you will recognise from past projects, some of them aren't that recognisable. That, for instance, there is from my Daybreak shawl, which is a long colour repeat yarn. It's over there now. So I'm going to be able to use this one again, but before I use this again, I'm going to get some sharper needles. I'm using my Chinese needles at the moment. I cast on using US 2.5s, I think, 2.75 millimetre needles. I looked at the different sizes of squares. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I'll link it in my show notes, which of course are available at fifykins.com. Now, free pattern on Ravelry, but it's based on the author's blog posts. I think she cast on 31 stitches per square. I cast on 41, just because that's how old I am. That's the reason I went to that, and I knew it was going to give me a little bit bigger squares. So I'm trying not to be too pedantic about colours and just plop colours in, which is it's difficult because I do like colour and I like playing around with colour, but at the same time I want to make it as random as I can. So that is that. I'll show you going along here at the moment. Basically they're just all mitered squares. That one there is one I did today. That's Winter Rainbow from a skein that I totally mucked up whilst I was rescanning it. Now, sorry, I'm just, because I can, I'll fold it into a little square. It's just something that pleases me for some bizarre reason. So that is that project, that long-term project. I'm not going to be showing that every week. I'm thinking probably once a month I'll show you some of the progress I've made. I am on the hunt for some sock yarn scraps. I use about 3 grams of yarn per square, so that's not a lot. I'm not wanting people to just, think, oh, that's fine, I'll just send a huge bundle. But, for instance, I moved where the camera was because, there it is. It was glaring when I was sitting the other way. I have this little mini skein here from Marigold Jen, which is going to be great. And if you're posting this within Australia, it'd fit inside a normal size envelope and a normal 60-cent postage stamp, for instance. So I don't want people to go out and think they have to get bundles and bundles and bundles of things. But if you have a couple of things at home and you don't mind putting a stamp on an envelope, I'd really, really love some scraps of sock yarn. And if there are any left over, I will take them to the ZK, the Zombie Knit Apocalypse, which I'm going to in June, and share them around there, or give some to Joyce, because I know Joyce is making a sock yarn blanket as well. There are probably plenty of other Aussies as well who can help. So that is, I think, all I've got that I can show. I'm still working on a test knit, and I'm going to start another test knit later this week. Hey, if you can, you do. Spinning, I have, works in progress. I'll bring this in now. Actually, no, I want to bring it in at the end when I'm talking about shop stuff. Spinning, I finished off the first bobbin of the You Give Me the Knits Unicorn Farts, it's called, which was just a really, really bright, multicoloured fibre that I picked up at Bendigo. And I did... The first, it's merino, milk, and silk. So it was quite slippy. So it was a new to me fibre. I actually hadn't spun anything with silk in it before, so it was a bit challenging to begin with. And the way it was presented in the braid, it wasn't a braid, in the fibre, it had been put through one of those awesome machines that puts everything in the same direction and blended all the fibres together in long strips. So for the first bobbin, I split the fibre in half. So I had half on one side, half on the other. The first lot I split into bits that were about that long and spun them still short forward draw, that's the way I draft, but from the fold. Only because I felt that mixed up the colour a little bit more than what otherwise might have happened. So I had, I think, 12 or 13 little tiny bits of those that I just kept going over and over. When I got to the second bobbin, which you'll see is also finished, I did that last night and this morning, I broke this one lengthways into the different colours. So you can see here the orange, you can see a bit of the pink bit there, a bit of the blue there. There is green underneath that somewhere, right at the very bottom there. So that will, I'm hoping, be quite fractal when it's plied together. And I'll show you the finished result next week. I'm aiming for a Sport DK worsted weight. Not sure what I'm going to do with the yarn yet once I have plied it together, but I will do that tonight. And I'm also hoping that both bobbins are fairly even though I can see that, look, bits on this first bobbin are particularly overspun, and I know there's probably bits in there that are a little bit underspun as well. This one I can still see there are some kinky little bits there where it's probably a bit overspun, but I'll make sure there's plenty of twist that goes into plying as well, which will hopefully balance it out a bit. I used a different whirl on the bobbin, one that I hadn't used. I used one of the smaller whirls to give it more twist because it was the silk and milk fibres with the merino, and it needed quite a bit of twist in there. So that will go, I'll show you that next week. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to get this done is it is in my Spin the Bin, which is from the Completely Arbitrary and Twisted group, and on Ravelry, and I have 12 bits of fibre that I need to spin this year, and if I don't spin them, I get to give them away. And I'd like to spin them, because they're in there because I want to spin them. There's different fibres in there, new fibres to me in there that I've chosen, and yeah, there's a page on Ravelry under my spinning which has them all listed. So once I've applied this, I will be able to get going with the next one. So that means that this will be the sort of the February one, then I'll have the March one, and going so forth and so forth. I'm hoping that, for instance, March, if I can get that one done this week, get it done by mid-month, then I've got the rest of the month to finish off something else that's not in my bin. Might be a new fibre that's arrived, anything like that. So that is that. Acquisitions. I don't know if anyone else here does a lot of swaps. I love participating in swaps because I love getting things together for other people. One of the joys to me of swapping is that I forget that I'm going to be expecting a parcel too. So I went to the post office on, I think it was Thursday or Friday, and there was a box there from me, and I looked at the address, and even though this person had been ear burning me on Ravelry for ages about different things, I'm looking at it, and the customs declaration said yarn and fibre, and I'm thinking, what did I order? And I'm trying to work it out, and I'm thinking, no one's really asked me for my address, because occasionally people will ask me for my address and send me things, which is just lovely. And I do appreciate it. I'm thinking, what have I ordered? And I thought, no, and didn't recognise it, didn't recognise the state it was from. You know, sometimes I think, that must be such and such. No, and I'm thinking, it was my Loopy U swap for me. And I'd forgotten that I was also going to get spoiled. So the premise behind the swap, the theme was your favourite things, and you filled in a questionnaire and were spoilt with your favourite things, your favourite colours. You needed to knit an article or craft an article for your swappee and give them a skein of yarn and some goodies that would go along with their favourite things. I got this absolutely stunning shawl. That is the right side there. And I do have, I don't think I've got the note on there, I've put it just here. So this is from Carolyn, and the scarf, I'm sorry, I'm just unprepared today, but it is just awesome and I love it, and it's in a rainbow and it just makes me feel really, really happy. So really lovely scarf, and it's just nice and drapey and beautiful colours, and just love it. So thank you very much. Carolyn also knit me a washcloth with an elephant, because I adore elephants, that way. So that is just gorgeous, and it's nice and soft and squishy. So now I'll be able to put that in the bathroom. And there was an elephant bookmark, and I'm not sure if it'll work on here. Yep, see the elephant's dancing? It's a dancing tassel at the back. Dancing elephant. Sorry, small things amuse small minds. Pick just for you, which is just really nice. A TARDIS pen, which is lots and lots and lots of fun. So a Doctor Who pen with the TARDIS, which Jasper almost stole, but I wouldn't let him. Some Sun Valley fibre in the cheeky colourway. It's 100% superwash BFL. Super soft and squishy. So I really would like to spin this sometime soon. And I'm looking forward to hitting the Sun Valley Fibre booth at the ZK. I was just looking doesn't have a weight listed on there, but it feels fairly substantial. So getting onto that. And then finally the yarn. I got String Theory Continuum in the Cassiopeia colourway, which is just, it's awesome. It's 7 rows of teal, 3 rows of black, 7 rows of pink, 3 rows of black, 7 rows of red, 3 rows of black, 7 rows of orange, 3 rows of black. And of course, stripe width may vary depending on tension, needle size and sock diameter, lovingly hand dyed. It's 430 yards of pure awesome, 393 metres of squishiness and 100 grams of fabulosity. So that is just gorgeous, and I'm really looking forward to using that and knitting up some socks for me and that. So Carolyn, you did exceptionally well, and I'm just so thrilled. Yeah, so thrilled with the whole package. So thank you again. My package is still winging its way to where it's off to. Hopefully it will be there soon, but who knows with the postal service around here at the moment. I think that's about all in personal knitting stuff. I'm going to be moving on to a bit of shop stuff now. Before you leave, the upcoming project that I have is going to be the mystery shawl by Josh Ricks, who is sort of a knitter from the Geoknitrix Designs studio, and he does a mystery shawl every year. I am knitting this. However, he calls for fingering weight yarn, 3 different colours. I'm using worsted weight yarn. I'm using my Wala base, and I've dyed it up. I just wanted to show you the 3 colours I've chosen. They're still a wee bit damp at the bottom there. And of course they haven't been reskeined or anything. This is Burning Orange. This is my brand new yellow colour, which I am calling Wattle. It's not really showing up there. It's actually a lot more golden. That's probably a bit better there. It's a lot more golden than is showing up there. And I dyed it by, I suppose, glazing it. For want of a better term, I started off with 1 colour of yellow, added a weak solution, added another one once that one had been absorbed, and then once that one had been absorbed, added the 3rd one. So I started off with the brightest colours, the brightest colours on the bottom, and went to the more muted yellow. So 3 different coloured yellows. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to starting this shawl once these are dry and the eyes have it. So that is the blue. So that will be colour A, the orange will be colour B, and the yellow will be coloured C. It's called the Greek Fire Shawl, and I wanted to choose fire-like colours, but not red. So I've got the orange, the yellow, and the blue. So I hope that I will have progress to show you when I record next. Now, the sun has just come out. It's been raining for most of the afternoon. Yesterday was a gorgeous sunny day, and I got some dyeing finished. I either had a sunny day on Thursday or Friday where I'd started dyeing, but sunny days at the moment are few and far between. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to have a shop update. I'm trying to keep up with the amazing number of orders I've got for the Love for Leighton colourway. There are still a few up in the shop, and if they sell out, I'm willing to put more up if people would like that. So the people who ordered, not last week, the week before, those ones have been dyed up. They'll be going out very soon. The people who've ordered over the weekend, I've had a few more orders come in. I'm hoping that I'm going to have some clearer weather tomorrow. The trouble is that the weather forecasts I can, for the next 7 days. I have the weather app, and this is what I usually use. So today's weather was showers, okay? Yesterday's weather was, I think, a few showers or partly cloudy. So we've got, tomorrow we've got a few showers. Now that usually means that I'm going to have some periods of sun. A few showers usually means we get a morning shower and an evening shower or some overnight rain. That's what it usually means, but it hasn't been meaning that every day. So, for instance, when I started dyeing on, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and I wanted to dye up the 3 skeins for the mystery shawl. That was Thursday, and it was beautiful. It rained in the morning, and 9 o'clock I'm reskeining yarn because it comes in balls, and I put it into hanks. Went downstairs into the laundry, which is my studio dye room. Got everything set up, soaked the yarn, mixed all the colours. Put the yarn in there, went to take the first one outside and it was drizzling. And I thought, I'm still going to leave them out here. I had some intermittent bits of sunshine, but it wasn't until yesterday, so they were in since Thursday, and the yarn's fine. There's no problem with the yarn. I was a bit concerned about mould, and I thought, this is for me, I'll cope. So yeah, so it's not the best dyeing weather. This is my first year, and I suppose it's a learning experience. I know that for next year I'm going to have some reserves, so I can do regular shop updates over the wet season. Our wet season didn't start till probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, but it's been a typical wet season since then, in that it's been raining a lot. I suppose an atypical wet season, the trouble is people talk about what a typical wet season is, and everyone has a different idea of what a typical wet season is. So next year I will have some put away. Coming up events, I have the ZK, or the Zombie Apocalypse. Everyone calls it the ZK, and I was calling it the ZK, and Jasper says to me, Mum, we're in Australia, it's Z, not Z. So that's why I keep jokingly calling it the ZK. Excuse me, I'm just going to mute that. So that is that coming up in June. I'm not quite sure yet if I'm going to be going down to Bendigo to vend anywhere, what I'm going to be doing. I'm hoping to go down to Bendigo, whether or not I have stock, because that is a month after America, and it just all depends, because I'm going to be taking most of my stock that I will have over there, and whether or not I can then order new stock, have it delivered and dye it up in time. Excuse me. I'm just going to do that so the message doesn't beep again. In August, I am looking at going down to Brisbane. There is a yarn and fibre show as part of the bead show, and I'm thinking of vending at a 3-day event down there. I did say to him, I know Mimmel's got most of August off his annual leave, and I said to him, hey, do you fancy a road trip? And he goes, you know how far away Brisbane is? And I said, yeah, you can do it, in 2 days, overnighting it. So I think it's 1,800, 1,900 kilometres or 2.5 or something like that. And he says, it's a long way. And I said, yeah. And he goes, it'll be expensive. And I said, yeah, look, I know, but, I just thought it just saves having to pack everything up into things that can be transported on a plane with you. So still working that out, what's possible, but I hope to be able to go down and vend there. I just have to get my application. They've said already they'll have me, which is nice. What else? I think that's probably about it. Except club people, the first shipment for the club is going out this week definitely. The yarn is finally dry. I have the extras. I've just got to now reskein the yarn and band it up and then package everything together. So there'll be something special in with those orders as well. I do apologise for the tardiness. February was an absolute write-off, and I think I'd rather forget that February ever happened, in more ways than one. So thank you to those people who are still ordering stuff that is still in the shop. That is great. There is still quite a bit there, and I can't guarantee when I will have an update. I was talking to you about the weather just before. It is a few showers, I think, tomorrow and Wednesday. Then we're looking at storms. And there's a possible cyclone forming, so we might be hit by a cyclone by the end of the week as well, which will be more rain. And the projections that I read over the weekend from some of the amateur weather boffins suggested lots and lots and lots of rain coming towards Cairns from Friday onwards. And that I just went, bring us a cyclone, but don't bring rain. You can't do, I know. Anyway, it is what it is, and it's all part of my dyeing process, and it's what I do, it's what I love. I just like a bit more sunshine in my world, that is all. And, a bit more than just 5 minutes here and there, because I need a few hours stretch. That's all I'm asking. Nothing much, just that. I think that's about it. Sorry, I've gabbered on a bit. I will catch you possibly next weekend, possibly later this week if I do get to dye and there is going to be a shop update. I'm not sure. And hopefully I'll have some things to show you. Perhaps another finished object, you never know. So until next time, I'm going to say, uru, cheers, bye.